Screw, marry, or kill Joe Christofek, Tony Kalo,
Whoa, 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 whoa! What are we doing here? Let's. We don't need to be playing those games. We're a little classier than that. Let's back off that, okay?
or Kevin Kilroy.
Come on, CC. What are you talking about?
I'd marry Tony Kalo. You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast, Kentucky's weekly horse racing discussion. And now, here are your hosts, Alan Schneider, the bearded handicapper, Geoff Riggs, Miss Louisiana, Jenny Doyle, and me, CC Broaddus. Hello, friends. It's episode number 235 of the Auxiliary Gate podcast for February the 17th, 2026. 3 days after Valentine's Day. I think we've got a little bit of a hangover. I feel a lot of love for you guys. First of all, Jenny Doyle is not with us, but Alan Schneider is. And I
Yes.
love you.
Oh, thank you. I'm a little hungover for Valentine's Day too. It's always expensive for me, as you guys know, 'cause it's my wife's birthday, and she really does get a kick out of it. But we had some fun. We went to a concert and stuff, so we had a good time. So I'm still feeling the effects of it, but onward and upward.
Now, I'm going to reveal some of my favorite pickup lines that have worked over the years. When I
Lovely.
think of pickup lines, I think of Geoff Riggs. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, CC. I appreciate that. I'm feeling good. I went to see my beard guy on Saturday. That was my Valentine's Day. I got my beard touched up, and that guy's
Nice.
incredible. He does this like hot lather deal with these hot towels with essential oils that are infused in them, and wraps me up, and it's crazy, but it's the best thing ever. And just like a straight razor shave on the beard, nothing better in the world.
How much does that
That
cost?
sounds, yeah.
It's actually pretty reasonable haircut and beard trim with him, $60, and then I tip him on top of it. So it's not like Great Clips cheap, but it's not like, going to a salon paying a couple $100 either. So
Gotcha.
yep. It's Handsome Fellows Barbershop, Doug. Shout out Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Yep.
Geoff, I've got some pickup lines.
Oh, I'm ready.
Th- these are ones that I've tried over the years, and most of them have worked. Hey, girl, are you a beaver? Cause damn,
Oh, that's
It's a good
that's a
one.
good one.
It's a
That's a good one.
classic.
that
Yep.
that worked. That worked in 2003. Are you a banana? Because you are very appealing.
Yeah, that's fourth grade Valentine's Day card right there is what that is.
I don't like the very in there. I think that's what's tripping me up.
Are you French? Because I fell for you.
I kind of like that.
That one's all right.
I'll go back in time and use that on my wife again from 30 years ago.
Mhm.
One of my favorite. I used this last week, in fact. My watch says that you're not wearing panties.
Huh?
And then she said, but I am wearing panties. And then I say, well, my watch must be 15 minutes ahead.
Ooh, nice, nice. That is a good one. That's
Yeah,
good.
that worked. That worked.
Okay, okay,
2026.
okay.
Get the up-to-date cheat code.
Are you a Wi-Fi hotspot? Because I feel a connection.
That's current.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, yeah. I went to my doctor and he told me I have a serious deficiency of vitamin U.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
Valentine's card one.
Geoff told me off air. That's what he usually goes to
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's my go-to
in a
for sure.
pinch. Okay, hey,
Yep.
let's talk Derby preps real quick. Three major Derby preps. Well, one major Derby prep, two minor ones, I guess you could say. The Risen Star was on Saturday, a part of a big card down at the fairgrounds in New
Great
Orleans.
card that day. Yep.
Paladin, son of Gunrunner, ran down Chip Honcho to earn a 93 buyer figure and 50 points toward gaining a position in the Kentucky Derby starting gate for Chad Brown, and I believe the Coolmore gang is involved in this horse.
Yep.
Paladin. What about I will say this about Chad Brown. He is, if anything, he is consistent because I'm certain this horse will come back in the bluegrass. He will run a much improved race. He will be one of the favorites for the Derby, and he'll probably run his race. So, any thoughts on Paladin?
Yep.
I completely agree with that sentiment. I did not think it was that impressive an effort. It took him the length of the stretch to wear down Chief Honcho or Chip Honcho, who reminds me a lot of Track Phantom. It did look like he's going to get by him, but it took the long fairground stretch to do it. But again, you do have to keep in mind first start of the year. Uh, he has the right to move forward, and we've seen Chad Brown really move forward in the bluegrass with horses like this, aka Zan or a la Zandon, who comes to mind with when he had a kind of a jaw dropper. So Jeff or
Zandon,
Sierra Leone,
Sierra
yeah, as
Leone,
well.
Zandon.
Yeah,
I don't think Good Magic raced in the bluegrass. He didn't go to the Risen Star, but
right.
nonetheless, same story, just different verse. They all
Hmm.
improved in their second start, and then we're right there on Derby Day.
Jeff,
Yeah, I know the comparison's already been made, but I do think there's a lot of Sierra Leone in Paladin, just kind of his progression and how it's mapped out to get to the Derby. I know it wasn't like a flashy performance getting the job done in the Risen Star, but I think he did what he needed to do. He definitely wasn't tired. He should have no issues distance wise. And he did get the job done. And Chip Honcho dug in well. I got to give credit to him, but I know there's been debate on this too of how much it really was a bias and how much it was just the best horses winning. But a lot of front runners did very well on that day, and then coming back yesterday and today at Fairgrounds, that really continued on the main track. A lot of front runners are tough to get to, so I upgrade that performance a little bit, and I also sneaky upgrade Golden Tempo too, who finished kind of a little farther back than those two, but he was really the one that was making up the most ground to my eye on a track that it seemed it was tough to make ground on.
yeah, that if there is a bias, and if there wasn't a bias to fairgrounds, it would really have hurt Golden Temple even more so than Paladin. Paladin was up close and
Yes.
was able to wear down the horse. It was
Hmm.
he had his eyeballs on, whereas Golden Temple was far back. It
Yeah,
appeared he made,
it would be more of a downgrade of Chip Honcho for me than an upgrade
yeah,
to Paladin. Yeah.
and then I think Golden Temple did make ground on the turn. Now he kind of flattened out in the not so in the last 16, but that's to be expected if the bias is indeed that way. So
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
agree with that on Golden Tempo.
And then the race immediately before, Bella Ballerina was caught. He collared inside the eighth pole. She re-rallied to win the Rachel Alexandra, also earning 50 points toward a Kentucky Oaks berth for Brendan Walsh, Tyler Gaffleon. So happy for Godolphin. They deserve this one. They lost two races in a row.
Hmm.
And but Bella Ballerina, what do you think about a horse that is beaten and then comes back? Is that more, well, in this case, is it more the horse on the outside that took the lead, just got tired late, or is this filly all heart? What do you
Give,
do? What do you do with this one
give
going
your
forward?
opinion, Jeff. I have a little in this particular race. I have a little bit of an opinion, but I'll be interested to hear what you have to say, Jeff.
In my opinion, I think it matters what kind of horse you're talking about. So with young horses specifically, I see it as an upgrade for Bella Ballerina because, she's still learning. She's still lightly raced and she can just, it's possible to lose focus and then you get headed and then see that and rise to the challenge. I will say that if there was a rail speed bias, she was on the rail and came back up the rail, so that may have aided her. But I like her a lot as a prospect. It kind of similar to the Paladin race and where she didn't just blow the doors off of him. It wasn't a wow performance, but she got the job done, did what she needed to do. I know Brendan Walsh after the race, when Joe was interviewing him, he kind of alluded to the fact that maybe she needed this one as the Oaks is the target. They're just trying to take their time with her and get her going. She's also half to Oaks winner, pretty mischievous,
Right.
so she's got it in the blood as well. So I'd say she's my Kentucky Oaks pick right now. I know she hasn't run just crazy numbers or anything, but I just really like how her progression is coming along. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Well, no, let's also keep in mind she is 2 for 2 at Churchill Downs, right? And like you said,
Yep.
her mama did peaked at the right time on Oaks Day, so she has that going for her. And the only thing is, I'm not going to knock the performance. I think it's always a good thing when a horse gets eyeballed and still guts it out. And actually was drawing off a little bit at the end. The one asterisk I would have is, correct me if I'm wrong, was love that neighbor, love your neighbor. Help me. Which what's the name of the horse that ran second? Is it Love Your Neighbor? I think it's Love Your
Love.
Neighbor.
I
You got me
forgot.
confused
You're
now. Yeah,
you're on the right. You're on the right track.
Right. I
yeah.
mean, but,
We
but
know what you're
It
talking
was the
about.
Stidham. It was the Stidham filly.
the Stidham
Yeah,
filly,
yeah. They put blinkers on. She ran huge. Yep.
but if I'm not mistaken, she doesn't finish very strongly in her races, right? I think she's always right there, but she doesn't quite get there at the wire, so she might lose a little ground in the last 16th. So
Hmm.
that might have been the case with that filly right there too, right? That she hits a wall in the last 100 yards or so. So that could have been the case too, where she was done. After giving her all the way down a stretch with the Bella Ballerina, but overall, I'm still gonna be. I would be in the buy position with Bella Ballerina. But I may hold back a little bit or whatever. But I still like the horse quite a bit.
Paladin earned a 93. I think I mentioned that. Bella Ballerina an 84. Pretty strong figures, I think, for both. Paladin, I would
I think
expect
so.
him to.
Especially watching the races visually, I think both of those are solid numbers.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that Paladin was the name of the lead character in an early 1960s Western on TV called Have Gun Will Travel. So that might be where we get the name Paladin from. Random trivia.
Also, the mascot for Furman University.
That is true.
That's right.
That's a good one. The Furman Paladins.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move on to earlier in the day. I don't expect to talk a whole lot about this. The Saudi Derby has not really been a key Derby prep in the past, although was it a couple of years ago? Forever Young ran down Bookham Dano. Talk
Wow.
about a future key race. But this particular edition, Al Haram, who was a local horse with a turfy pedigree, won the Saudi Derby, and I doubt. Well, they may go on to the UAE Derby and maybe try their luck there, but I'm not holding out much hope. I think this is one of those souped up local stories that I don't know. I don't have much trust in Big Al.
Well,
Yeah.
as you're saying that, I was going to say, oh, that's nice. A horse named Al Haram won. That's somebody I should bet since it shares my first name, Al. However,
Yeah.
70% of the horses on those cards are named Al, right? So I guess I shouldn't. That's no big deal, right?
You'd be spreading in every leg of your pick
Yeah,
five there.
I'd go broke.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have much to add
Uh,
on it. I think you
yeah.
guys kind of nailed it. Yeah.
We'll wait on this one. Sunland Derby was on Sunday. Pavlovian, a son of Pavel,
Mhm.
who, if I'm not mistaken, won. Did he win the Stephen Foster or the Clark? I think he won the Stephen Foster back
Yeah, I know
years
whichever
ago.
time he did, I didn't bet it. I can tell you that. Doug O'Neill.
Yeah. Well, he his son Pavlovian won the Sunland Derby. I think the story of this race is more the race call than the race
I heard
itself.
it.
But
I heard it.
Yeah.
Oof.
he did earn an 87, which is respectable. I thought. Horse
That's better
has
than I thought it would be, honestly. Yeah.
yeah, has a handful of starts under his belt though, so it makes you wonder if there's any improvement there. But it's Doug O'Neill
Yeah.
for Paul Redham. Instead of Mario Gutierrez, we get Edwin Maldonado in the saddle for Pavlovian.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It
So
was good
I'm
to see that update from Mario that it seems like he's bouncing back. All right, he's doing okay.
yeah, yeah, yep. I think what the track announcer called the other horse, he called the photo the wrong way, which
hmm
I, this is purely commentary opinion on my part. That guy's awful.
Yes, I'd heard about it. I'd heard about the race call, so I watched the race today. I was like, ugh. It's like, okay. It's like, I mean, but it could be just a one-off. I don't see races from Sunland, but I was like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, oof. But I'd agree with you there,
We're
CC.
we're
That's
spoiled
true.
living.
We I don't watch a whole lot of Sunland either, and we're spoiled here in Kentucky. You know,
That's
we
true.
got Travis Stone, we got Tony Kalo, like we got the best of the best. So take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
In a race I didn't see, Bottle of Rouge won the Sunland Park Oaks.
That
Both
was
of
an
these
equally
races.
that was an equally bad call, by the way. Keep going.
I didn't
Was
even
it?
I didn't even watch
I
it.
didn't see
Apparently,
that one. Tell us about it.
It just it's like he just saw the race wrong, I thought. But anyway,
I don't. I'm looking up to see the pedigree of this horse. I can't even find her. Bottle of Rouge. Anyway,
86 buyer looks like that's respectable.
86. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yep.
Oh, here it is. Daughter of Vino Rosso. Bob Baffert, Juan Hernandez. He he ran. Did he win the Oaks with Plum Pretty back many years ago? I think
yes.
off. No, the Sunland Park Oaks was run in March several years ago. Now it's, of course, in February. But we've seen horses come out of there and run well. I'm thinking of Firing Line ran second in the Derby, ran in this
Yep.
race. Of course, Mind That Bird. So anyway, all right, enough Derby talk. It's time to talk to our guest. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back and we have one of our favorite guests returning tonight, somebody whose on-air presence has been missed the past few months by racing fans across the country and especially here in Kentucky. But she's had a great reason. She is a new mom, has been taking care of and bonding with her beautiful and happy baby Asher, but she is officially back. The Queen of Turfway Park, the Oracle of the Kentucky Derby trifecta, and one of our favorite people in general has returned. It is the wonderful Kaitlin Benson. Caitlin, thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good, Geoff. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It feels good to be back.
Of course, we're very happy to have you back, as everyone is. First of all, how's mom life treating you?
Mom life has been going well. There's been a lot of tears, all of them
Mhm.
happy. Because people just say you don't know what it's like to be a parent, obviously, until you become one. And just the emotional aspect it brings out of you when you look at your child, it's something that I will never get over. I was just crying like a couple hours ago, just looking at him and just thinking, I just want to protect you for the rest of my life. And I have to hand it to my wonderful husband, who's been my rock throughout all of this. And I couldn't get nearly through any of this without him. I don't know how people that are single or don't have supportive partners do this. I really don't.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, yeah, I think we can all agree with that. I know Alan knows firsthand about that, but I know of friends, family members, all that. It totally changes your life, and it definitely makes a huge difference having a supportive partner. Shout out Joel. Joel's great. Joel Benson.
Yeah.
He's actually taking care of Asher right now so that we can have Caitlin for a few minutes of her time. So very appreciative to Joel as well.
He's the
Well,
best.
yeah, absolutely. You're officially back at Turfway now, Caitlin, and back to your loyal fans. I know firsthand now how much work goes into that job. How have you been settling back in after being off for a while?
It feels good to be back. It took a couple of days to really kind of get the hang of it, but Turfway, full time anyway, has been the longest tenured track that I've been at. This is my fifth year
Hmm.
doing Turfway, and Brian Bain and I have been able to find a really good groove at that track as far as the flow of the show goes. So settling right back into it, like Brian said, it was just kind of like riding a bike. It's probably, I mean, obviously Churchill is the thing that I do the most, but
Hmm.
Turfway is the show that I feel almost the most comfortable doing because of how just methodical it is, I feel like, and not in a
Right.
bad way. It's something that I can rely on. Everything is going to go to plan every time, and if not, we always have these foolproof things ahead. But Brian's just a fantastic producer, and he's made it really really easy and making me not look stupid.
Yeah, I have to second that. Just in my short time filling in for Caitlin while she was out, Brian Bain is the man. The producer, technical director there. He really does make things work smoothly when things usually go right. When things go wrong, he doesn't panic and he makes them look like they're going right. So absolutely, shout out to the team there at Turfway. They're great to work with. I love the vibe at Turfway in general. I just think it's a cool kind of niche vibe there. The track is awesome. I think the fact that it's night racing kind of has a lot to do with that. What makes Turfway special to you? What makes it stand out to you?
I think a lot of it is because it's night racing. You can go home, crack a beer open after you get done with work. You still have a full card that you can bet within, a couple hours of getting off. So it's something that's readily accessible to everybody. Obviously, the product is great with, there being prices that come through. There's full fields. There's all kinds of different levels of horses. So I think the fact that it's a track with so few in the country that really say they quote unquote have it all, Turfway feels like it
Hmm.
has it all. It has a good horse population, the takeout's low, the product's reliable. You can expect prices to come through. It's not just a chalk parade every single time. The safety levels there for the horses and for the horsemen. So I think this is a track that really does have it all and is just a very all around solid product.
I knew that'd be a perfect question for you because I couldn't have answered it any better myself. That was it. That's exactly my thoughts. But you summed that up much better than I could, Caitlin. So I appreciate that. I know that you have not been on air for the past few months, but I know you've still been watching. I know you keep tabs on racing, especially Turfway in general. Are there any jockeys or trainers that have stood out to you at Turfway so far this winter that have really made an impact?
Um, One that really comes to mind is Victor Carrasco. Victor and I have been friends for a lot of years. And when I first found out that he was going to come right at Turfway or was kicking the idea around was kind of around the summer when I was at Colonial. So when he told me he was going to pull the trigger and he was like asking me about like houses and like different places he should look in the area. I knew that he was going to be a really good fit for this track. He's a
Hmm.
rider that he's obviously mostly known throughout the Mid Atlantic circuit, having won the Eclipse Award for leading apprentice probably like 15 years ago at this point. That feels crazy to say because we're just in our early 30s. But I mean, hey, if you start riding in your
Very
late
young.
teens, it's really been that long ago. Um, but he has more than held his own at Turfway Park. He wants to finish in the top five, and he is in the top five right now. And I think he definitely will finish that way. Has stakes under his belt here already at Turfway Park within the last season, and I'm really hoping it's going to propel him to a permanent move here to Kentucky. So he's definitely one that I knew was going to really pan out well here at Turfway. And Walter Rodriguez has been another surprise.
Hmm.
Walter was a really strong apprentice a couple of years ago at Turfway, but he's just continued to hold that form. He's leading by one heading into the new week over Luan Machado, who's been our leading rider for a while now here at Turfway, and he ended up finishing ahead of him by a pretty wide margin during the holiday meet, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and then as
Yeah,
far
he
as
he went on a
trainers,
tear. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then as far as trainers go, I love Kelsey Danner, and her horses have all been running extremely well. And she really, prepared them really exceptional for this meet and just really has them in the right spots. So those have been the ones that after a week back have really, caught my attention.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. We got some big stakes races coming up. They're gonna throw you right into the fire here this weekend. You got the Cincinnati Trophy on Friday, and then of course the headliner Saturday in the John Battaglia Memorial. Have you gotten a chance to take a look at the overnights or anything yet on those fields?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly the Cincinnati Trophy. I would
Hmm.
say I've kind of looked at a little bit heavier than the Battaglia. Is the Cincinnati Trophy, and I should know this off the top of my head, they're both 20 points, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I
I
believe
thought
so.
so. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Um, yeah, I mean, just very, very solid fields all around in these races. And I mean, the Battaglia, that's produced a Kentucky Derby winner within the past couple of
Exactly.
years.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple horses that I think will probably come out of the respective races. I don't expect Coco Connect to run in the Cincinnati Trophy. She just won the Battaglia, or the Valdale, excuse me, a
Mhm.
couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago from the time we're recording this. She could run. That's definitely something that could happen. Emily's Joy just ran a few days ago, too. She's nominated. One horse that I think has a big chance is the undefeated Go All Stakes winner, Map to the Moon. Map of the
Hmm.
Moon. She's very,
Yep.
very nice.
I think she'll
Reese,
take a lot of money in there.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she'll
She's a
be your
very
heavy
exciting
favorite.
prospect. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. Resist for Tommy Drury Jr. She's also unbeaten, stretched out successfully last time out here at Turfway Park. So she's one that has the distance foundation under her, which is Map of the Moon does not. Dame Laura for the Brendan Walsh barn, she blew the doors off the place back on January 9th over the surface. And then there's one other one that I think is interesting, Bella the Barn for the Kaya Karamori barn.
Mhm.
This horse, I think they were meaning to nominate potentially to the Kentucky Oaks, and they nominated to the Triple Crown. Um,
Interesting.
there was a couple people that did that last year.
Mhm.
So I think that that's what happened, but they obviously think she's the real deal. And she's in
Yeah,
this
either
race
way, they think she's the real deal. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. And she's in this race at 15-1 and broke her maiden first time out with a little bit of trouble on January 21st. So she's in there at a relatively big price. That would probably be my lean at a price. But the ones I've talked about too, I think are all very, very nice horses. So this is a good field in there. And I'll quickly move over to the field for the Battaglia. Obviously, Street Beast is the horse to beat in there.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think, whether that horse ends up on the dirt or the turf long term, he's a really versatile type of a runner, and he's a really, really nice horse as far as things go. I think Steel Imperium for Kaio Karamori is an interesting horse. Maximus Prime was the one I was thinking of. He's probably not going to come back because he literally just ran in a
Mhm.
maiden race. Didn't end up breaking the maiden. Atfield is also in there for Tom Morley. I know he's one that they think highly of. He beat Schwarzenegger for Wesley Ward on debut and stretched out successfully to the two turns. Brendan Walsh going to send out Stop the Car off of the Lecomte Stakes, and Ace's Honor has won his last
Okay.
couple of races. He's in there for Ethan West and Pocket Aces Racing. So overall, a really good field in that race too. There's a horse on the also eligible, a Small Town for the Michael McCarthy barn that I think is maybe a little bit interesting if he's able to get in.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with the analysis for sure. I haven't dug into the race, hardcore either, as you said. It's just we got a lot of week left to go, but it looks
Yeah.
exciting looking at the overnight and just kind of looking at the names on there. I'll throw Great White out there too. I've been a big fan of him. He's kind of had trips in both races so far, so I think he could
Yes.
maybe make some noise late too. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty awesome racing weekend at Turfway that Caitlin's going to take us through. Before I turn you over to Alan, we're talking about these preps, Derby and Oaks season right around the corner. Pool four of the future wager just closed. Is there anybody who's kind of caught your eye at this point, either when it comes to the Derby or Oaks, that you're looking to moving into Derby and Oaks season? Any horses that have caught your eye?
Well, Thunderously was a horse that I had an interest in at potentially a higher price on the pool four of the Derby
Hmm.
wagering, which of course they suspended the wagering on that horse because he's not going to make it to
Right.
the Triple Crown, which was a little disappointing. Cannoneer was a horse I liked a lot coming into January.
Me
His
too.
effort last time out in the Holy Bowl was extremely puzzling. So I'm really not sure what to do with that. I'll be honest, I didn't really think the effort from Paladin was all that in a bag of chips like everybody seems to think it is.
Hmm.
Um, and if there, I know there's been some discrepancy in whether people think there was or wasn't a bias at Fairgrounds that day. He better hope that there was, because if
Yeah.
there wasn't, that's really not all that impressive. I would probably take Golden Tempo out of that race. I thought he ran really well potentially against the flow to make up a lot of ground late in that race, and seems like the distance, won't be a problem. I mean, honestly, we're into this point where we're just getting into the 50-point preps where there's going to be a lot of different changes. And I think, real legitimate contenders are really going to start emerging.
Hmm.
So I can't really say that maybe I have at this point. Usually at this time of the year, I have somebody pegged as somebody that I think, I really, really like. In this spot, there's no Japanese horses that have really leapt out to me or anything like that. I think Bella Ballerina on the Oaks is an impressive type of a prospect. She's a
Hmm.
horse that I've always really liked, even before she was racing as a 2-year-old. I mean, she had very, very good works, and she was a horse that seemed pretty gritty and a little bit wise beyond her age. So she's one that I've always really, really been a fan of. So it's nice to see her pan out. And Zanny, I think, is a legitimate horse for the Rapoli barn too. So those are the two that I mean I'm sure stand out to everybody as far as the Kentucky Oaks go. But they really look like top level of this crop.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny. I feel like you were in the room with us because when you listen to this back and listen to our intro, it's like you were right there with us with the Risen Star and the Rachel. What we were talking about, it's pretty funny. You'll get a kick out of it when you go back. But I appreciate it, Caitlin. I'm gonna throw it over to Alan. I know he's got some questions for you tonight.
Well, before I get into that, I'm going to say I'm personally hoping Small Town gets into the Battaglia, not because I have any opinions about the horse in particular, but because that's named after a John Mellencamp's song, right? And he's my all-time favorite. So I like to see him get in. Plus, that's Michael McCarthy, who's won the race twice. No, he's won the Ruby twice, right? He's won endlessly, and he won with Rombauer, right? Did Rombauer win the Ruby? Anyway.
Uh, no, he was second in the bluegrass, or he won the
That's
bluegrass, I think, or was
okay. That's
second in it or something.
well.
And
Anyway,
then
so
he,
yeah, I'd like to see Small Town get that done simply because of the name. But anyway, welcome back, Caitlin.
it's
Welcome
good to
back.
be back.
Yeah, it should be or whatever. So, how many times? I mean, when did you get married again? What month was it?
October.
October. So, how many times after you got married did you continue to write Caitlin Free down? Have you done that yet?
Um, I haven't wrote it down, but some of my stuff still says free on it because, as you know, being married for the woman, it is
Yes.
very hard to change all of this.
Yeah.
And I, was pretty pregnant by the time I got married. If anybody has a comment to that, keep it to yourself. But um, trying to change all of that in such a short amount of time, it just was not happening. So I'm slowly changing all of it. So a lot of my stuff still says free, a lot of it doesn't. But I was so excited to change my name that I haven't even gave it a second thought.
I'm proud of myself because I wrote these notes out for today. I put Caitlin Benson on everything. I did not act because I'm sure a lot of people still call you Caitlin Free too, right? It's just the nature of the beast, right? So.
Yeah, a few people do. I think a lot of people have kind of adjusted to the change at this point. Well, also it kind of helps that I was gone for so long and then came back and everybody's like, "Oh, it's still the same."
Yeah. How many times? Well, I know you have the 3 a.m. feedings and stuff. That's just natural and stuff when you're having when you have a new baby. 2 a.m., 4 a.m. Does that give you an excuse to watch Hong Kong racing? I mean, I know you're going to do it anyway, but it kind of work hand in hand there.
I will say, it does. I've watched quite a few of the Hong Kong races because of that. A lot of the Japanese and Australian races I've been watching because he's been awake. But we have actually found a really good rhythm and a really good system to where Asher will sleep till about 5 or 6 a.m. and then he'll be up for the day around 9 o'clock.
So you,
So that's been pretty reliable that he sleeps almost through the night. So I'll just lay in bed and just not be able to fall asleep. And I'll just look over at him multiple times and then I'll, watch whatever I need to watch. But he pretty much only gets up once at night.
girl, you hit the jackpot there. Now it's going to change a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm sure everybody's told you when they start moving, that's when it really starts to get challenging. Stuff when they learn how to weeble wobble around the house and stuff before they walk, oh, they're quick as hell. I wish I could bet horses that fast because it's something else once they start to move. But um, anyway, congratulations on that. You gonna take many Reds games? You got any planned out there yet? By the time the season rolls around, we get in the heat of a Major League Baseball season. He should be good to go by then. What do you think?
Yeah, he's pretty easy, now. There were some times where he was not so easy to take places. I remember there was one specific time that we were in Walmart and we just had to leave everything because he was having a meltdown. I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this cart over here in the corner and I'll come back and get it later. And it ended up still being there. But he's been a lot better for the most part. With it being the timing of the year and it being cold outside, we've kind of kept him in and away from
Yes.
people more so because of all the sickness with the flu and stuff going around. But he's a lot better than what he was, that I feel like we could take him somewhere, but he takes a lot of naps throughout the day. We have him kind of on a really well regimented nap schedule that he sleeps during the day between 3 and 4 hours. Um, so I don't know how long he would be able to hold attention. It's probably something that once it gets toward the summer, he'll be a lot better at. But I mean, he's overall a super good baby.
Yeah. Something that occurred to me today is Derby time is always so busy for you
Hmm.
guys, you, Joe, Kevin, Tony, and everybody else that we don't see, right? It really is tough. And now this year we're going to toss in a later Oaks, Kentucky Oaks. We're going
Yes.
to toss in Sunday racing on the second day. The meet is opposed to having that dark day. So there's already thrown all these things into the mix on you. Plus you got this baby here thing. It's going to be a little time management's going to be a bit of a challenge, isn't it?
It'll be tough. One thing that we have thought about is our family has just been awesome
Yeah.
throughout all this, both mine and his. So I think during that week, we're going to have some extra help with us for Derby, both between my family and his. So Asher's going to be well cared for, and I'll still be able to make sure everything's getting done with work and stuff. So thankfully, knock on wood, that only has to happen once a year.
So in that vein, right? So with the changes that we're going to see on Derby Week, I don't know if you had time to digest them or if you've had time to talk with anybody because everybody kind of goes their separate ways during the off season
Right.
to other things. But uh, how do you think that's going to work out with the later Oaks, the Sunday racing, positive, negatives? Do you see both sides?
I think the Sunday racing is a really big positive because it takes away the Downs After Dark on opening night. So you're just doing a daytime post. Whereas, if you do the morning work show like we
Yes.
do, or obviously everybody else that's there doing press in the morning, which is essentially every person that works in racing, everybody else that has to get up, that saves every single person that's working Derby from leaving the track at midnight and then getting back at 4 or 5 a.m.
Right.
So
Good point.
you're taking that element out, which I think is going to add a lot of extra needed sleep and gas to people. So I really don't mind the pickup of a day because it's almost like a push in a sense because you're not having to have that time where you work in the morning and then come back late at night on Saturday. You're just going with an even flow. And then, of course, we get Monday off. We're at
Oh,
racing
okay.
on Monday. So it's not consecutive 8 days. It's seven. There's one break in between for Monday. The post, the late post for the Oaks, I kind of love a little bit less. But from an advertisement of racing standpoint, I think it's going to improve the wagering and it's going to get more eyes on television on the sport. And I mean, you can't ever say that that's a bad thing.
I completely agree there. Yeah, I feel the same way. I see the obvious complaints people would have, but then I'm like, if I'm not doing anything on Oaks Day, because usually sometimes we kind of kick back on Oaks Day, and I'm at dinner and stuff when the Oaks is going off. So now maybe I'll personally see a little more of it and stuff. So I see the other side of it too. So that'll be good. So anyway, it's good to have you back, and I'd like to have CC get a crack at this. All right,
All right.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
takes
Hey,
time.
Kaitlin,
Yes.
forever young. Do the Japanese appreciate him like we appreciate him?
I think they finally do because he is the first Japanese horse of the year that's ever been a dirt horse. And
Right. Do they look down on that though? They're mainly turf. The dirt's the secondary surface, the second or like the minor leagues. You know.
kind of, in a sense, I'd say that he's kind of really become a cult hero for them ever since he won the Saudi Cup last year. Obviously, they really, really appreciated him with his run in the Kentucky Derby because other than the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, which is the number one race they want to win, the Derby is definitely second. Um, of course, the Breeders' Cup Classic was third, and he ended up winning that. So I think that he's going to have a really, really special place in Japanese history, and they're taking him seriously. I just think that, like you said, dirt is kind of secondary over there, and a lot of their dirt circuit is kind of on their B circuit up north, so to say. Um, but yeah, for him to get not only the horse of the year as a dirt horse, but the fact that he didn't even run on that circuit almost at all, really, I think speaks to how much they think about him.
How does he rank international? I don't even know how you would begin to rank him though. Like internationally, I mean, he's not top 50 here. I wouldn't think, but internationally, as a horse that travels from different country to country, he's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, I think as far as earnings go, he's either the second or third highest earner of all time as far as racehorses go. And when you weigh horses internationally that have traveled, um, I think you could maybe slide him in somewhere in the top 50 here. It would probably be in the 40s, I would imagine, because he beat a really good field in the Classic. I'll say that. It would have been, probably the greatest Breeders' Cup Classic field of all time if Sovereignty was in there. It was still an incredible field. But as far as traveling horses go, I kind of rate him up there with like an Invisor or a Curlin.
Yeah, it's hard to place him. And do you think
It
we'll
is.
see a Sovereignty Forever Young matchup? I don't know. It seems like it's a long shot at this point, but
I don't, because obviously, Sovereignty is not going to the Dubai World Cup, and it sounds like unless there's a real incentive, that Forever Young is not going to come to the Breeders' Cup Classic because it's been there, done that thing for them. They want to try him on the turf. After the Dubai World Cup, he's going to get a little of a break. They kicked around running him in the Arima Kinnin in December, and that being his career swan song, that's over the turf. And maybe getting a prep before that or something, or trying to defend his title in one of the grade one dirt races over there. But I think they would like him to end his career in the country. And since this is his last year of racing, I doubt we'll see him come back.
there's no chance he'll stand stud here, is there? I know there's been some overtures from some of these local farms that want to try to get him here, but he's probably going to stay in Japan, right?
I would imagine he'll probably be at the Shaddai Stallion Station that stands all their big stallions. I kind of doubt they would ever let him go, because I feel he would be far more appreciated over there.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just not something they do though. They're just not going to let their bloodlines, get
yeah,
out of
and
the
the
country.
one thing that the Yoshida brothers have always said is they don't sell. They'll buy, but they don't sell. So
Right.
I
Right.
can't see any way that he would ever come over here and stand at stud. But the difference between what he has going on is he's not owned by the big conglomerate over there. He's owned by one man that's, not with all that. So I think it would depend on where he wanted to stand him at stud and who has breeding rights, etc. So I mean, he could do that because he's not owned by, a racing group or somebody that's kind of like the Coolmore Japanese racing over there, which is the Yoshida brothers. He's owned by one wealthy guy, so he can do whatever he wants with him at this point. But I kind of doubt that will ever happen. And other than the Sunday silence from the sire side, the sire's bottom side is all American racing, and so is the dam side. So I can't really see a ton of benefit of him standing over here anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, hey, I want to ask you about your job. Uh,
Yes.
do, do you know who listens to you? Did they ever give you an idea of actually who listen? Are you talking when you do a paddock show? Are you talking to like novices? Are you trying to inform grizzled veterans? Are you trying to inform $2 betters? In between, did they ever give you an idea of that? I was just curious.
No,
Who,
not
who do you
really.
paddock?
I think that I'm trying as hard as I can to talk the most to the grizzled veterans and trying to be relatable in that aspect and really, tell people things they can't read in the form, things that I'm able to get from sources or to pick out from certain places. I'm trying to talk to everyone as best as I can. I'll sometimes simplify some things that I feel like, is worth hitting home that maybe somebody didn't catch or somebody that's a novice would benefit most from knowing. But I try to talk to everybody, but I'm trying to put out as much information as I can that's not really accessible any other places because at the end at the end I just want to make our product unique in that way.
Can I interrupt real quick? Because that actually brings a question to my mind. And like, kind of what Cece was saying makes me wonder, is Churchill, they don't have focus groups for you guys and maybe curtail your analysis too? You know what I'm saying? Like, just like he said, so you know who you would be talking to. Ever like, we know who you're talking to, but that might be a bad idea for Churchill to come up with focus groups to kind of, so you guys, am I talking to novices? Am I talking to the intermediary player? I'm just, do they do anything like that?
A few things that we do is obviously we talk about that a lot amongst ourselves with our boss and our group and who we're going to really curtail things to at certain parts of the show. But there is a one aspect where we will go to different parts of the track multiple times a week when, some of us maybe aren't as heavily on the schedule for the day. We'll go to a lot of the private suites where people are having parties, where there's conventions, companies have people, and that's kind of where we do hands-on analysis with novices. We'll actually physically go to them that
Gotcha.
are at the track.
Okay, go ahead, CC. That just crossed my mind.
How have you evolved since you started doing this, or have you evolved? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's changed between when you started and what you're doing now?
I want to believe that I've evolved. I hope that I have, and I think that I have. I think a lot of it comes from comfortability, being more comfortable around trainers, jockeys, owners, and just being able to have a type of relationship with them to where I'm not coming up and like always asking for something. I can just have small talk and have a relationship and just be that way with people. Because I don't want, people to automatically see me and be like, oh, she's going to come ask me a question and things like that. I want people to actually see me as a person, rather than just like nagging media, if you know what I mean. So that's really one thing that I've tried to work on, is just being present. In every way that I can, both inside and outside of racing, and being accessible to all racing people in that type of an aspect. But I've tried to just really refine my craft, not only in that way, but just getting more and more comfortable on camera, speaking a little bit slower and a little bit more eloquent. And like I said before, when it comes to who I'm speaking to in the audience, trying to pick out things um, that only I could bring, that only, maybe I could find, or certain questions that I'm going to ask somebody in an interview that's going to have them answer a certain way versus asking, just a yes or a no question, or something that's just spun a certain direction. But I think just kind of refining little touches here and there.
You ever watch I know you've watched the Melbourne Cup coverage. Do you think you could do that where the paddock reporters walk alongside the horse when,
I
they
would
they'll
love
walk the line? You'd love to do that?
I would love to do that. Love it.
I think I assume they coordinate that with the handlers, the horse handlers, and but I think that's kind of unique. But yeah, so you could do that.
Yeah, I think I for sure could.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to for a while. Obviously, I couldn't do it last year because I was pregnant, but I would love to do horseback interviews in the very near future.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah. Uh, do you get feedback? Like, so I know, just like everything else in the world, it's either evolve or die. What's next? I always wonder, like you've got to evolve a little bit in this game, or otherwise,
Right.
what you're going to try to put out is going to be obsolete. So what like I'm just trying to think in my world, my old world. I was into mortgages, and I had friends that were realtors and stuff like that, and we all had to go to continuing education and do that kind of stuff. Is there anything like that in your world, or is it just kind of you do it on your own?
I think a lot of it happens on your own. The one thing that my boss always says is you can be as good as you want to be. So a lot of that is you continuing education, pushing yourself and making yourself better. Um, so just trying as hard as you can to get up in the mornings, go to the barn, get feedback, talk to trainers, get on the phone, and different things like that, and really bring that level of knowledge is really what I'm striving for. But if I decided maybe after a while that this isn't for me anymore, there's an other area of racing that I would like to explore, I think I would definitely be open to that. And the one thing that comes to mind, if that should happen someday, would honestly be being a steward.
Wow. Okay. No. All right. Maybe a trainer.
No.
Could you train a horse? You want to train a horse? Okay. All right.
I don't think I would ever want to train them. I wanted to be a jockey for so, so long, and that ended up not happening. I ended up getting really hurt when I was in college, but I don't think I could train a horse. Um, I would be interested potentially in revisiting schooling and furthering my education in the veterinary world too. But I feel like training would be the thing I would least want to do because I feel like when you're a trainer, not only do you have to manage the horses, you have to manage like a bunch of people, and that would be the part I wouldn't like.
Could Joe Christopher ride a horse?
Mm,
Could he conduct a horseback interview?
I don't think so because Joe has neck problems. And you got to be able to have full use of certain things. I think he's best suited as a reporter on the desk, but I don't know. There's a lot of things I can't put past him. I know he would definitely try it.
He would do it, wouldn't he?
He would do it. Yeah.
He would do it,
I don't
yeah.
know how it would work out, but he would definitely try.
All right. All right, Geoff, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, you had me laughing over here. I was on mute, but thinking about Joe doing that. But he would definitely try. If I know Joe, there's nothing he's going to turn down. But I agree, Caitlin. I think that you probably fit that role on horseback interviews better, I would say. But yeah, Joe, we love Joe. Joe does an amazing job at what he does, and he's the man. I agree. I think the neck issues might be the drawback there. But yeah, Caitlin, this has been awesome. We are definitely happy to have you back for sure. I know the Turfway fans are, and there's a lot of just really cool stuff still happening at Turfway this meet. We got those big stakes this weekend, and then got the Jeff Ruby on the horizon as well. So I'm hoping to get out there at some point too. Maybe we can get the podcast crew together and make a trip down to Turfway while Caitlin's talking us through the card at some point. What do you think?
Sounds good
Yeah,
to me.
that'd be awesome. I remember one time you guys did that and everybody had to evacuate the building because one of the kitchens caught on fire.
That's true. Yes, only Jeff was with us, but that was Brandon was with us, and yeah, it was a fire alarm CC or the place just caught on fire. I cannot remember
Something
exactly
caught
what.
on fire within the building. Yeah. I think Brandon had something to do with it. Or Belterra Bill. He was there too that night.
Yeah,
That's true, he was.
we had to wait in the paddock or something. It was freezing outside too. I can't remember what it
It
was,
was
but
raining.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
even better.
That's right.
That's
We
even
went out
better.
to the paddock. It was you and me and Bull Butter and somebody and maybe Brandon. And we waited out. And you didn't have your jacket. It was like 30 below.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm a sissy when it comes to cold weather. Yeah, I remember.
I think
Well,
there
things like that happen when the auxiliary gate goes places, so that's not out of the ordinary.
I think there's a chance for some pretty bad weather coming up this week. Like they've talked about February tornadoes, and there were tornadoes in February last year, and they were horrible.
Yeah.
And they're notoriously bad this time of the year. And I saw a map that was put out that there was a really high level for severe weather, and it seems like there's always something like that going on. I remember it was a couple of years ago. We had a tornado watch and ended up canceling Turfway, but I was already on air for the first race and horses were in the paddock. And I distinctly remember the wind was so bad. I saw this horse was in the paddock get hit in the face with a McDonald's bag that was I, and I really think off the top of my head that it was Miss Temptation.
Oh, the horse that loves Turfway that you'd always pick
Yes,
that comes from off the pace and always went like 7 or 9 to 1. Yes, I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
pretty sure it was her. I'm almost positive that it was her. And I remember that. And we ended up canceling because it got so bad because it snuck up on them so fast. And all of a sudden the wind just picked up. And I just remember McDonald's bag like flying in her face. But she was such an old pro. She really didn't even care, which young horses would flip over and be on the vets list forever. But yeah, there's something brewing this week, I think. So we'll see what ends up happening with all that. Hopefully, no cancellations, no evacuations or anything. But it just sucks when the weather gets bad. That's the only drawback that I have about Turfway, and that is the biggest, you know, thing that people don't understand. They're like, "Well, it's an all-weather track." Well, yeah, it is, but when it's 0 degrees and there's standing water or there's snow that is so packed down, you can't get it off the track in a timely fashion. And jockeys aren't going to ride when the real fuel is in the negative. It's not safe. So yeah,
Right.
Preach, preach,
Yeah.
preach. Yes, go on.
yeah,
Harry,
Yes.
maybe
Harry
an
Utes
all
will.
Harry will be the only one.
Very true. Yep, yep. And this winter has been especially harsh as
Yes.
well. We've had the worst winter we've had in a long time, so it's been tough having some cancellations. But as you said, I mean, I think Turfway does an incredible job overall getting as many cards in as they do in the dead of winter like this. And we're lucky to have it. And we're absolutely lucky to have you back, Caitlin. thank you so much for joining us. I know everybody's excited to see you in the remainder of Turfway and going into Derby season. So thank you very much, Kaitlin Benson, for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys.
Did y'all see what they done at Keeneland?
No.
What'd they do?
They, well, the new paddock. You've seen the new paddock, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They've got new dining on that area. I'll be completely honest. I guess I'm way too critical of Keeneland. That does not do anything for me at all. New dining options. I think
Me
that's
either.
I think that's just boring.
I am
And
a
Give me the
beer.
corned beef sandwich there, and I'm good. I love that
Yeah,
thing.
yes,
I'm a beer and corned beef guy, and I'm a
Yeah.
beer and corned beef walk around the place kind of guy. That I'll do that once
but
in a great while, but
how about somebody try something new? Let's throw some couches in there, like some really nice leather couches that are comfortable. They can you just sit in there and just plop in front of a TV
uh,
and hang out instead of just having dining options where there's 50 tables in the room and
yeah,
nothing else and window. Think that's really boring nowadays when it's all about the experience. Just make it for people that want to hang out
yeah.
and
They'd be hard to get those leather couches on a Saturday at Keeneland. I get your point, yeah, but
but if you're
those.
paying for a room though,
Oh
if you're
yeah,
paying and
oh
there's only
yeah,
like 150 people allowed in a room, you could do that easily and
yeah,
just maybe have some coffee tables. You could set your lunch there, whatever, and eat that. But it's I don't know. I just thought that they spent all that money for more dining, and I'm sure they'll triple whatever their investment is. But
you just have just get some leather couches for some college age girls to puke up on by the fourth race, right?
yeah,
'Cause
well,
that's
that type's not going to be in this room though. These
right.
rooms,
That's
I don't
true.
think
Yeah.
they're going to be out in the open area.
Yep.
Maybe I don't know. Jeff, this is more Jeff's arena of high profile dining.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
like it's the bluegrass room, right? Isn't that the name of the room?
Well, the
I like
bluegrass
that
room's on
room.
the other side. It's on the opposite side of it, which, by the way, has been ruined. They used to have the best buffet around. They used to have a carving station with corned beef and prime rib and just the good old days. And you could just gorge yourself on good food. And now they took that away because of COVID. And yeah, so I'm down on Keeneland. I'm looking for a rebound at some point, but
Hmm. I think a lot of new ideas needed because I get tired of horse racing a lot of times. I think it's time. There is some time for some new ideas. Let's do away with pick five analysis all the time. I want to see somebody have a pick five analysis one time, or like, you know what? Don't bet the pick five. It's not worth betting today, or it's too hard to bet. That's what I want to see, but it's never going to happen. That's what,
right. I've
huh?
I've never understood that concept because those wagers kind of cannibalize the rest of the wagering menu. I think
Yeah,
if I play a pick five, I really just don't want to hammer every single race up to the last leg.
yeah. Nor should you. I
Like
mean, yeah,
I just sprinkle in some exacta. This is a suggested exacta wheel or a trifecta
agreed.
wheel or double. You know,
This is a more attackable race than this race. I mean, you're selling your product, so I understand what you got to do. Don't get me wrong, but the fourth race, maybe the fourth race is, and you guys know that's kind of how I play, right? I look at a card and I'm like, well, this race is where I want to. I might try to bet a trifecta here. This race is where race I'm going to pass. This race, this sequence looks like this. Maybe I go multi-race, right? Blah blah blah. But that's. I wish there was a little bit more of that, right? Depending on the race, depending how the sequences fall out, how a card falls out. I'd like to see I'd like to see him looked at more in that vein, but I don't think we're going to see that because the multi-race analysis, which I get, trust, and that's what people like. Uh, and that's where we're at right now. So it's like I just wish there was not this um auto. Everybody auto bets the pick five. Everybody auto bets the pick. If the sequence is there, all right. If it looks good, if it looks like it's going to chalk out, why spend 4 hours talking about it? Or if it looks like it's absolutely positively impossible to hit, which oftentimes it is, it's like, we'll try another day. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
now on the flip side of that, just play devil's advocate. That's a lot of the handle comes from
I
those weight
know, I know,
pick
I know.
five. So I'm certain there's reasoning behind it. just I don't know. It's odd to me that that's all that's ever pushed.
Yeah. I get it though. I mean, I do understand, and sometimes there's lower takeout, pushing the lower take on those wages. But then again, there's no reason you can't lower the takeout on the other wages. But that's a conversation that we've had multiple times and stuff, and probably will for the end of time, right?
I think a
Yep.
lot of it's an efficiency thing too. Just kind of doing more of that on-air stuff and being in that world. If you make a pick five or a pick six ticket, that gives you the opportunity, like in the pre-show or going up to that sequence, to give your thoughts on each of those individual legs
Oh yeah,
at one time.
Well,
So I think it's kind of a time thing more than anything, in my opinion.
yeah, and from a production standpoint, you've got to if you wanted to
Yes.
do doubles and exactas, that's a graphic you've got to draw up for every single one of
that's
those.
true. That's
That's
true.
true.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, working in that world too. The graphics departments at major tracks have more than enough on their plates already, so that is
yeah.
definitely a consideration. What's up?
I've always wondered that too. I know we've talked about it with you and stuff, but you've only got a short time between races and stuff, and you've got a lot of different things you got to show and stuff. And
Yep,
that
yep.
could get kind of tough,
It's a lot
man.
to build. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
pre-build a lot of it just to be able to kind of get through the card efficiently and everything. You still do things on the fly, but
Yeah.
you also want to be accurate. You don't want to put graphics up there that have typos or mistakes or whatever. It just it's
Right.
not professional that way. So it's
Yeah, you
you
just
want
can't really throw up a graphic at 5 minutes to post saying, I want to do
Yes.
a 4 horse box here, and then
yeah,
they
yeah,
they draw it
exactly.
up, and then they screw it up, and then it's
Mhm.
it's just you putting a lot of pressure on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think what I mean is not just the actual TV shows themselves. I'm talking about podcasts and this and that too. It's like I like to see somebody just attack a card. It's like, well, how are you going to attack this card, right? As opposed to well, automatically let's look at the pick five. Well, maybe today it's the third race is the one where we want to key on. How are we going to attack this third race, and what races should we pass on? That's I'm just talking like in an overall, just a macro version of that. I
Yeah,
guess is what I'm
horse
saying.
racing analysis in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it from me. You got anything else you want to add?
I've probably talked too much as usual.
All I can say is my mood is noticeably lifted in the last few days as the weather's changed. I actually spent time outside today. I think it was almost 60 degrees, so
Yeah.
that was good. We need more of that.
Amen. Touch grass. Touch grass.
Touch grass. All right. On behalf of our guest, Kaitlin Benson, Alan Schneider, Geoff Riggs, and a cast of thousands, I'm CC Broaddus reminding you the gambling money ain't got no home. Good night.